Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a break on home repairs and I'm going to work on the truck. I've been having a little bit of issues with hard starts and stuff like that. I changed my fuel filter and I think that I lost prime and I have a bad lift pump. Not 100% sure, but something I've been wanting to do anyway is put a new lift pump on it. I wanted to go with a Fass system. I ended up going with a 165 and I went with a sump pump as well. So I got the boxes with me. I'm going to unbox and I'm probably going to try to show how I install this. So this is actually what I bought. I bought the Fass system titanium signature series. I think some people call it the Whisper series. And I bought the sump and I bought a Fleece filter delete. And I went ahead and cut the tape so it's a bit easier to open. But this is the T. This mounts to the engine. Do away with all your factory filter and stuff, and then this is going to be a return system. You have your line coming back from your CP3 into one side and comes out the other and goes back to the tank. And it comes with some O-rings and looks like some type of plug fitting. I'm new to this, so this is going to be, I'm going to have to walk through this myself. This is something that I ordered. I want the XDP, and it's got a feed and a return. I'm going to have to drill a hole, probably about a 2 or 3 inch hole. I have to read the instructions. This did not come with a bit. I've seen some that come with the hole saw bit, but this will mount to the bottom of the tank, and you'll run your supply to your pump, and then you run your return from your CP3 back to your tank. And this is the piece that goes up inside your tank, and you put your bolts in it, and it looks like it already has like a rubber O-ring right here already attached. And then this is a tube that goes on the return side that sticks up so the fuel returns and goes up this tube. I guess it cuts down on air bubbles maybe, I'm not sure. And then it comes with a couple of barred fittings. And here's the instructions for this. Looks like there's all the pieces, and these are the 2 bolts that will bolt to this and sandwich the bottom of the tank. So we're going to get that installed. And then this is the filter system, the Fass. This is the 165. I went with a 165. It's bigger than I need at the moment, but I do plan on buying a Fleece turbo probably, and I might do 25 or 30% over injectors and do a 2-piece manifold and buy a tuner and stuff like that and do some head studs. That's stuff that's coming up. I'm not going to do it this minute, but they give you a couple stickers. It looks like some type of brochure. Comes with your wiring harness. I think we got to tie this into the battery for a constant feed, and then it plugs into the switch plugs and stuff. I have to figure all this out myself. Comes with a big bag of different fittings, as I do want to do a return style system. It comes with a hose that will go from the pump to the front. And the register paper, I think you can actually get online and register this. Yeah, it looks like fastride.com, register your warranty. You want to make sure you register this in 30 days. I have read that people did not register it, and within the 30 days they may have not even started it, bought it, let it sit around, and they would not warranty because they didn't register it. So as soon as you get this, even if you don't install it, it's a good idea to go online at fassride.com and register this pump. That way you are covered. It's a lifetime warranty on this pump. All right, and then this is the pump. There's the filters go on the bottom, titanium series. Hopefully this will be efficient fuel. And then it's got these new filters. They don't no longer have the drain for the water separator. These filters, one of these filters is supposed to have exceptional water catching capabilities. It's a good idea to probably carry a couple of these filters with you, maybe in a toolbox or behind the seat or under the seat or something. That way, if you ever get to a spot where you forgot to change them and it's been a while and it was to clog up, you can just swap these out, reprime it, and you're good to go. And then the bracket system, which right here is one. I think this one mounts to the bed frame, and then this one your pump mounts to, and you can adjust it. It's got these slide rails here. Just put your bolts in. You can adjust your pump one way or the other. A total kit of the filter delete for the Fass system 165 and the sump. I think this was just a little over $1,000. So it's not real cheap, but this is a lifetime pump. So what I will probably do is go ahead and register it, and then we will get to the install. So this is what I ended up doing. These holes, I think this is like a wave break or something that's in the tank. When the tank sloshes, it's got like a metal thing that goes up with holes in it, from what I've researched. And this very flat part, it's like right under the the filter, the old pickup. So I drilled in between, and I went ahead and drilled the 1/4 inch pilot hole, and I got me a fuel jug, and I'm letting it just run into that. I think that'll be easier to pour my diesel back in when I need to start it and go to the fuel station. But that's what I did at the moment. Now I'm going to start working on the wiring harness. And I went ahead and mounted my bracket as well. I'm gonna have to fine tune this. But I took the bed bolt out, just about right above where the old pickup is. If you just come out where your leaf springs are, and then that bed bolt, right, you can see between that crack up there. Just loosen it, take it out, and then put your rubber garment on top of this metal bracket, and just bolt this up. And I had to go up in this hole with a long extension and put the socket on actually once I got it up here, and then took that out. I think it was a 18mm. So this is where the filter system's going to mount. Okay, this is the wiring. You've got this add a fuse. This goes into your fuse box, and you have to search a fuse that is a key on, and this one will crimp to the single red wire, just like this, and then you add that to your fuse box under the hood. And these two will crimp here. The green will go to the negative side of the battery, and the red will go to the positive side. And you crimp those lugs on, and then you take the bolt on your post off, and you put this through one of the bolts or the nuts to where you have constant power to these two. And this one will be your key on and key off to your pump. And then it comes with this relay. This relay will go into this, and you need to get some dielectric grease and put your relay in, and then this is the cover for your relay. It will just slide over both. Your relay will be protected inside of this. It will go up in this box, and then you have this slot to where if you want to mount this, you got a bolt hole here, so you can find somewhere on your firewall and you can put a bolt through this, and this will shield it, and it needs to be in an upright position so moisture don't get trapped. If you have this upside down, this may fill up with moisture and moisture could get into this, so you want it in an upright position when you mount it. And this plug will run back with the orange, will run back to your Fass fuel pump, and this is a fuse. You will open this up and you should have a 10, I think it's a 10 amp fuse that will go into this, and this will stay up there right off the battery. So this will be up front in the engine compartment along with the relay. This will be the only one that you run back. So this is your fuse box. So I've got my battery unhooked, so I'll have to figure out later which fuse that I have that's a key on, but I will pull one of them, and then I will put the fusible link in, and I will put this fuse on top of it. It's just add a fuse is what it's called. And then you will put those links in these bolts, and then you can station everything over here, your relay and everything, and then run the other wire down your firewall and just zip tight down your frame rail until you get to your pump. Okay, I've got the wires cramped. This is the single red wire. This goes to the fuse box, and they include a 3 amp. Okay, I have some dielectric grease, and I put some on this fitting. I'm going to put the relay in. Okay, I have the relay in. Now I'm just going to put the cover on it. Now the cover's on it. Now I can start installing it in the truck. Okay, I have all my wiring hooked up. That's to my negative, to my positive. I've got the box back here, and I've got the fuse link there, and I ran the fuse to the fuse box behind the battery, which you can't see it, and you can see it running right. I come out behind the battery and run it right beside there and into the front, and I just got it in there for right now. Once I hook the batteries and stuff back up, I will then test and see which is which. But now what I'm going to work on is that bolt right there that's on your CP3 pump. I'm going to take that loose. I have to take the fuel lines loose. So I unplug the fittings. I'm going to open that valve and that little yellow handled valve right there. I'm going to open it up and let it drain. Then I have to take the banjo bolts off on both sides and put my fleece in, and I'm going to have to take these bracket bolts, that bolt, and there's a bolt over there, take all that off, and finally try to get this old filter out. And then I'm going to have to put my new fitting in the CP3, and that way I can start running my hoses and stuff. I think that I can remove this line completely. This is the fuel line that went to the CP3, and it goes to the bottom of your filter. You will no longer need this line, so I just went ahead and took it out because it will come straight from the Fass fuel pump, and it'll go straight to your CP3 because this is your new filtering process. So this will eliminate that. I have the fleece in there right now. It's just roughly bolted up. You can see it a little bit behind that tube. I have to take the banjo bolt from that fuel line and that fuel line and bolt it up to the side of the fleece. So that will complete this besides the sensor in the bottom. I took the sensor out of this port here on the fuel. This is the water sensor, I think, and I put it in the bottom of that fleece. I didn't show that, I apologize, but it's just a little round type sensor with a 2-prong plug, and just put it in the bottom of the fleece. And then I have these little copper washers, and I'm going to put those, one on each side of that banjo bolt, one on the bolt side and then one on the fleece side, and just sandwich these two in between and tighten those bolts up, and that will complete that return, and that fleece delete will be done. Okay, this is where I'm at the moment. I got my Fass pump. I've put my fittings on. Okay, the bracket is mounted. So now I will take these and we will have 2 bolts and washers and nuts that will run on this, and there will be a rubber isolator that you will put between that and the metal bracket out there, so when you're running it cuts down on vibration, noises and stuff like that. And there's another one of these rubber that goes up on the top bracket between that and the bed. It's already been installed. So let's try to get this pump mounted, and then we can start running our fuel lines and we will almost be done. Hey guys, welcome back. I went ahead and finished my truck up. It was getting later that evening and I didn't show every single detail like I wanted to, because I was starting to get up against the time and I really wanted to try to get this done. So today I thought I would just go ahead and do an overview of how everything finished out. Like I said, I was getting hard starts. Once I changed my fuel filter, it's like I lost prime or something. And it would turn over several times before it would start. So once I put my new lift pump on there, it turns over like once and then it fires right up. So that did fix the issue. I don't have any codes, no check engine lights or anything. It runs great. I'm really pleased with it. The Fass 160G is what I put on. And I like it a lot. It runs really smooth in acceleration and everything. I can't tell a massive difference, but I did gain 0.1 miles per gallon as of right now, which I'm not running a tuner or anything. If I run a tune, I'd probably get more miles per gallon. But right now, I think I'm averaging like 15.4 miles per gallon. I was averaging 15.3, but since I put this Fass on there, I gained 1 point. Or 0.1, should I say. But I'm gonna go ahead and go over the overview with you and show you a couple little things that took me a minute to figure out. So I'll start up here in the front. I got my ground wire on my negative, my positive, my red wire on the positive, and my fuse box. It took me a minute to find a fuse. So they give you this add fuse right here. And I went through all these, and like soon as I stuck it in one of these slots, my fuel pump would kick on with the key off. So I finally found one, and I think it is fuse link 28, and this is a 2003 Dodge. So I put it on fuse 28, and I ran it out this way, and I notched out the fuse box so it didn't pinch the wire, and I ran it around and behind the battery. So this is my relay, and I mounted it in a vertical position so the moisture will run down and not settle into the relay and corrode it. So hopefully this will prevent that. And this is the fuse link. There's a 10 amp fuse in here. I just zip tied it to this hose. And the other connector is just run down through here inside the frame, and it goes into the pump. There is the 90 that goes to your CP3, and this goes straight to the supply side of the pump, so it just goes down, and I run it with the wiring harness side by side all the way back to the pump, and it just connects into the supply. And it's a little dark and I don't have my light with me, but there's the Fleece filter delete, and so far I don't have any leaks on anything, but I got rid of the return from the CP3, so now it just comes from the head and the intake, or the this fuel rail, so it just goes back through there. And I left the top of the tank. I didn't do anything. I didn't drop the tank. I didn't do anything to the top of the tank, so this automatically returns back to the top of the tank like it was when it was factory. And then as you go back to the back, this is where I mounted my Fass fuel. I tried to mount it up towards the front a little bit more, but I had this bracket that went up. This is one of the plates here, but then if you look back there in the very back, you see how it 90's back. I just bolted it to the bed bolt, and it comes down, and I had to put the bracket to where it would slide towards the rear tire. So it is a little close to the back, as you can see, but it is tucked up in there. I thought about maybe making some type of shield right here just to keep like road debris coming off the tires, and just covering this pump. I don't know if I will do anything with that, but I may. But this is the supply from the tank, so it comes from my sump on the bottom, and it comes up to the back of the pump. And then you have this is the return right here, the lower one. This is the return that goes over to the sump, and I just run it inside the frame rail, and it comes out right here. So you can see this is the return and the feed. So the return goes to the front of the pump after it filters through both the filters, and this is the feed that goes into the back side of the filter right here. And then that top one up here, it runs from right that point all the way to the front to my CP3 fuel pump. And like I said about these are for coolant lines. If you wanted to run coolant through this thing to keep it from freezing up, I just left the red caps in. But so far it's on there, and it does great, and the filters are easy to access. I mean, you can see them. They're just barely tucked up in the bedside here, so I can just reach in here and turn them out. And the filters, I don't think I can get a good view of it. Right there, yeah. The filters have like a picture on them, and it shows the pump, and it shows you which filter goes where, because if you just look at them, they look very similar coming out of the pack, but one is for the water separator and one is to actually filter the fuel. So you gotta know which is which. But if you look at the picture on the filter, it shows you if it goes on the front or the back of the pump. And the water separator has an O-ring, a small O-ring, about a 1/2 inch, that you got to slide up over it first, and then it still has the big O-ring on top of the filter, just like a normal oil filter or something. That's the overview of it. I hope that helped you in any way. It's not that bad of a job. I've never put one of these on before, and I started about 9 or 10 o'clock that morning, and I worked until about 5 that evening. The only hang up that I had was the fuse, trying to find the right fuse, because like I said, I tried a bunch of them, and every time I would put it in there, the fuel pump would kick on. So I looked at number 28 on this truck, seemed to work. So it took me a minute to find that, but it, you know, from about 9 or 10 in the morning to about 5 or 6 in the evening, I had all this completed. But yeah, you can do it with basic tools. I think the biggest wrench that I used was maybe a 1-inch, and that was just for that 90 fitting on the back for the feed from the tank, just to turn it. But you could probably use like a crescent wrench or something like that for that. And some of the fittings for like the CP3, that 90, I think it was maybe like a 7/8 or a 13/16 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But outside of that, the rest of them were pretty small wrenches, you know, like a 13 or a 14 or something like that. But it wasn't too bad of an install. But so far, the truck's running good. I appreciate you watching. I hope this helped. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. I will sprinkle in some more videos like this because I got more plans for the truck later on, but mostly I do remodels. But I hope you like this, and I appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.